Hello and welcome to the Habitz Podcast. Today's guest expert is Lisa Slater from Make Your Copy Count. Lisa's in the Habitz studio with us today to share some good tips that you can pick up when it comes to making your copy count on LinkedIn. So Lisa, thanks for joining us. So let's just get straight to it. What qualifies you to give us some habits about making your copy count on LinkedIn?
Well, I know that content marketing works because I've never had to cold call for my business. I've never had to research businesses and then email them blind. I've always got all of my work has come through networking and through content marketing. I've worked in sales for over 20 years. I've been copywriting professionally for over 6 years, and I've written the book on blogging. So every day I'm living and breathing content marketing, and it's what works for my business. So I know it can work for other people's businesses as well.
So now it's time for you to get a couple of the bad habits that you really hate off your chest. So what are the bad habits that you see people, doing when they're posting copy on LinkedIn?
Well, I think of LinkedIn as networking, but you're networking online, so it's a virtual environment, but it's important to do the same things as you would do as a networking event. So you wouldn't go to a networking event and just walk up to people and say, hey, do you want to buy stuff from me? You wouldn't stand in the room full of people and not join in any conversations, and then every 5 minutes just shout out, I sell copywriting, and you wouldn't just go to a networking event and hide in the toilets the whole time you were there. And yet that's what so many people do on LinkedIn, because they'll just come on LinkedIn and post a sales message. So they'll just post adverts selling whatever it is they're trying to sell that week and never post anything else. Or they'll approach people with direct messages without even having researched the person, and then just send them a sales message trying to sell them some stuff without even knowing if that person wants to buy their stuff, or trying to build a relationship in advance. And then probably the worst habit that people have as well is lurking, LinkedIn lurking. So as I say, it's the same as going to a networking event and hiding in the toilet or hiding behind a curtain. You would hear what everyone else is doing, but you're not going to get your business in front of anyone, and no one's going to notice you there, and it's not going to work for you. You're not going to get any business out of it. So it's really important to make sure that you're posting stuff on LinkedIn and making sure that you're visible.
So you think like visibility is one of the habits that people really don't do. They sort of lurk, they don't actually really engage with anybody, but then all of a sudden they just come straight in with a sales message, which, like you say, that's the bad habit there.
Absolutely. So lurking and not getting involved, not posting any content, not commenting on any content, and not being visible is a really bad habit, because you're getting to know other businesses, so you feel like you're using LinkedIn, but actually you're not visible to anyone else, so you're not getting what you should out of it. And then equally, if you're only posting sales messages, then people are only seeing you when you want something from them. You're not actually adding value to the community. You're just coming in and trying to sell stuff and not engaging with other people's stuff or sharing anything of value.
You're just like one of those horrible friends that everybody's got that only ever text you or call you when they want something.
Absolutely, or just wants to talk about themselves the whole time, and whenever anyone else is telling a story, they'll be the sort of person that's always got one better to tell.
If you've been to Tenerife, they've been to 11 Reef.
Exactly.
That's the one. So we've gone through your bad habits. What are the good habits that you think people can pick up?
So I think it's important always to remember that you're on LinkedIn for a purpose. So people who are in business for themselves or trying to sell, you're on LinkedIn to try and get people engaged with your business, to get people engaged with your content so that they want to do business with you. So don't just be posting any old stuff on LinkedIn. Think about what you're sharing and the purpose behind it. That doesn't mean that you just have to post sales messages. It just means that you are thinking about the bigger picture of how is this post going to help me engage people with my business or get me more business, more of the people that I want to do business with.
And how do you do that?
So you can have different types of content. So let's just start with 5 types of content that you can use. So the first one, that could be your expert advice. So that's advice, top tips, things to avoid, mistakes people are making, how-tos, DIY guides and that kind of thing. So sharing advice with people and sharing tips with people.
And I guess a little bit like when you're here today, that's positioning you as the guest expert, isn't it? Or the expert on the subject.
Yeah, so when you're sharing posts like that, you're showing people that you know what you're talking about, you're showing people that you know your stuff, you're being helpful, you're doing them a favour, so you're building that trust with people and you're building your credibility and you're letting people know that you are an expert in your subject, in your industry.
Brilliant. Okay, so number 2.
So the second type of content you can post is your promotional content. And by this, I don't mean just sales ads. I mean promoting the benefits of what you do. So, for example, I might do a post about the benefits of having a blog on your website and list all the key benefits of that. Or I might talk about why you should hire a copywriter. So it's not directly trying to sell to people, it's just raising awareness of what you do in a nicer way, I guess.
Brilliant.
And then the third type of content that you could post is if you're going for optimization. So I talk about this a lot with blog posts, so you can optimize them for search engines, and you can do that on LinkedIn as well with your hashtags. So you might want to create posts on LinkedIn that that are around a hashtag that people are searching in your industry, so that you can get found by more people, so that your posts are coming up in front of more people. So optimizing your posts so that they get found more easily.
So that's something I find really interesting. Is that almost like a bit of SEO, a little bit of keywords, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely, because people do search by hashtag or follow hashtags on LinkedIn, but also if you're using hashtags quite a lot on LinkedIn, it can sometimes come up on Google searches as well and drive people to your content on LinkedIn. So it can be a good way of, if you're using quite unpopular hashtag, not unpopular, but the lesser used hashtags, then your content's going to come up more and people are going to be able to see what you're doing. But equally, if you're using the hashtags that a lot of people are looking at, you're going to get your content in front of a bigger audience as well.
Okay, so the sort of more copy you've got, the best optimized copy you've got, not only will it get you found better on LinkedIn, but it'll also help you get up the sort of search engine ratings as well.
And then the fourth type of content is your entertaining stuff. So this will help you build an audience, because a lot of people like to see fun stuff on LinkedIn. So this can be, and you can do this with your blog post as well. So let's say you're an estate agent, for example, you could post the weirdest thing you've ever come across on a viewing, or just a story about something that's happened lately on a viewing. If you're a plumber, it could be strange things that you've found down a toilet or that kind of thing. If you're a graphic designer, you can put up those bad designs that haven't worked and that kind of thing. So it's just quite entertaining for people, and it gets quite a lot of engagement. So that's how you can build up your following and your engagement with your post as well. And then the fifth type of content that you can do is your getting people engaged with you or your brand or your company. So that could be, if you're doing company, it could be things like a company history, people profiles about the people that work for you, case studies about projects that you've worked on, your company values. And if you are your brand, if it's you that is the business, then it can be a bit more about you. So showing, talking about your hobbies, talking about things that you like, things that you don't like, sharing a few personal stories, so that people can get to know you and then know that you're the sort of person that they want to do business with, because they can tell from your post that you're the sort of person that they would connect with, or the sort of person that shares the same values as them and has the same ideas and morals and finds the same things funny or shares things in common. So you can share a bit of personal content as well. So
a bit of personal content, injecting a bit of your personality into your LinkedIn profile, so it's not all just business.
Exactly, yeah.
What do you say to people who say, LinkedIn's not Facebook? What's your response to that?
LinkedIn isn't Facebook, they're different things, but when you go to work, do you only talk about work stuff, or Do you ask your colleagues about where they've been on holiday? Did they have a nice holiday? Do you inquire about their children? Do you tell people about your dog or something that's happened with your kids at the weekend? You tell stories. You don't just go to work and only talk about work. You talk about personal stuff. You get to know each other. And it's the same when you go to a business meeting. You don't just walk into a business meeting and start, say, talking about your products or services. You build a bit of rapport with them. You say, did you have a nice weekend? Did you do anything special? Or you'll ask questions and you'll get to know people a bit. So I don't see why people think it's different on LinkedIn. Why can't you start conversations with people? If you're just posting top tips and advice, that's great. People will see them, but they won't necessarily engage with those things because they don't feel like they've got anything to add to it. It's not their area of expertise, or they don't really know what to comment. But if you post something about, what's your favourite kind of potatoes, people can engage with that easily. It's inviting that conversation. So that's why it's important to put some of those posts out as well. Yes, of course, you want to show people what you do and show that you're an expert, but also you want to get people talking, starting those conversations and getting to know you as a person as well.
So there we go. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us in the Habitz studio. If people want to find you or get in contact with you, how do we do that?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Lisa Slater. Don't follow me if you're one of the This Isn't Facebook people. Or you can find my website at makeyourcopycount.com.
Remember, if you've got any good habits when it comes to writing good copy for LinkedIn, or you've got some bad habits that you want to share with us, you can find us in all the usual places. That's all for us now from the Habitz studio. We'll be back next time.